Hello, friends, family, and people who want to fight me. We are doing Bible study again. Today, I'm dropping the link right now. My overweight cat has opinions. Hi, Humphrey. Humphrey, say something to the people. No? Okay. We're going live in 5. All right. Here is a link. Why not? We'll see you in 5 minutes. Maybe my overweight cat will join us. All right. Where am I? See you in 5. 1 Kings chapter 9. See you there. Oh, wow. What a great group of people. Hello, everyone. What a great group of people, and also Yoav. No, Yoav, I very much like you. I just know that you enjoy being insulted. I feel like if I insulted Sandy, she might leave and cry a little. But I think you'd be very happy to be insulted just a little. Sandy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing well.
Good, good. You already work today, right? That's how that is.
Yes, I did. I'm letting them give me shorter shifts,
Okay,
trying to be kinder to myself.
Sandy, I will see you in like a week.
I was going to say you're going to Midwestuary, aren't you?
I am, so I'll
Yeah.
see you in a week. Yoav is shunning the Midwestuary. He does not approve. That's why he's not attending, and not because it would take 20 hours to get there.
Yeah, they're going to insult me.
You're going to.
There's going to be a robot with you FaceTimed onto it. You're going to participate in an estuary all the same. Fun. Matt, hello to you as well.
Hello.
You are there with the unanimated balloons, which you will give the breath of life to.
There you go.
Yeah, just worms right now. Just worms.
Try and put a word, but not a man.
Yes, exactly. Maybe after some work, they can become men. Sandy, I'm so glad you're here. You know why? Because first off, I like you, and number two, so that you will do the reading. How about that? Yoav was already nodding. He knew. I talk enough. Are you ready, Sandy?
Whenever you are, yes.
Okay. 1 Kings chapter 9. Go ahead.
As soon as Solomon had finished building the house of the Lord and the king's house and all that Solomon desired to build, the Lord appeared to Solomon a second time, as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. And the Lord said to him, I have heard your prayer and your plea, which you have made before me. I have consecrated this house that you have built by putting my name there forever. My eyes and my heart will be there for all time. And as for you, if you will walk before me as David your father walked, with integrity of heart and uprightness, doing according to all that I have commanded you, and keeping my statutes and my rules, then I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever, as I promised David your father.
Okay, let's pause 1 second right there. That's a good pause point. Any thoughts out the gate?
Yeah, there is a difference between Tam and Tzaddik. He's not calling David righteous.
Right.
David, even when he was awfully wrong, he never knew he was wrong. As I said when we were studying David, he just didn't get the relationship with God right. He didn't understand his role in the relationship. Took him time to learn.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. It's an interesting play. Just so people know, it's tzaddik or tzaddik is often translated as righteousness, right? Sandy, did you notice anything?
I'm going to say no because I'm only, just half hour home from work.
That's all right. Matt, anything stand out to you at this beginning stage?
Just the one thing I always notice is that seems to kind of like conditionalize what at the time seemed like an unconditional promise to David way back when he wanted to build the temple. And it's also, I guess, like fitting that Solomon gets this after he builds the temple, after David is prevented from building the temple, but given the promise of a house of a different sort instead.
Yeah, different kind of house. Good
Yeah,
point.
but
Good point.
Okay, I have a strange question.
My favorite.
So, when you watch some of the archaeology going on in Israel and some of the argument over where was the temple actually, and now they're talking about finding evidences of, the temple, but simply being, the remnants of it being underground. If God says his eyes and heart are there for all time,
Mhm.
well, then he's still there in a way. Like, so, and
Yep.
I only framed it as a question because I'm thinking, I think it's not something we generally think about when you say that, you build a first temple, a second temple, a third temple, but his name is on the temple. At least the one that Solomon built, but he says it's going to be there for all time, so that his eyes and his heart are still there.
Yoav, what do you think about that? Do you
Yeah,
agree with what she's saying? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's an interesting image. It's also, as we were talking about in the construction, when I'm saying I think it's designed to look like heaven, it's the temple continues, it persists. The earthly temple uh, is kind of in shambles right now, but what it's based on continues. It's continuing right now. I put you on mute, Sandy. Don't worry, as you, whatever that is. Um, the other thing that I'm wondering people's thoughts on um, is this language of appeared. Appeared. Hashem appeared to Solomon a second time as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. The language of visualization. Um, I just always find it interesting because I always picture it as a disembodied voice, as though there's nothing to look at. But the language of appeared implies that there's something to look at. And I don't know what that is. Anyway, that's just me. We're going to continue on, I think. And Sandy, I think part of what you're saying, I think there's going to be more to it. Sandy, you always notice where I think it's going. Don, you're so much fun. Is this the Jesus part? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Let's not honestly, it might mean that this is the angel of the Lord, right? Sometimes it's there's a dude, maybe it means a flame of fire. Maybe it means I don't know, but he's looking at something. Yeah, threshing floor and altar was at Gibeon. Yeah, this is all very interesting. So the idea that the Lord is appearing to him, it's showing some sort of consistency, and that God is. We've been asking the question if God actually accepts the movement. Yeah, that's the question. Does you moved God's location, his number one address has changed. Does he approve of that? And this text seems to imply yes. Okay. Unless anyone has anything else they'd like to say, I'm gonna bring us down a bit.
Well, if God has eyes and a heart, then he can be seen.
Okay. Okay, Yoav, you take the text literally and on its own terms. What do you think is meant by appeared? Do you think it means there's a fire? Like, right? Moses sees something. Sometimes people see a human being who talks with them. who's a representative, who's the Melech, right? What do you think is meant by appeared?
Yeah, exactly what I said, because I don't know. The text doesn't give me any hint about what it might mean, except the next clause. In as much as God has eyes and heart, then it is something that can be seen. That's the only hint that I can get.
So you picture eyes and a heart floating in the air, maybe on fire.
No,
Not
no,
what you
no,
said.
No, I know.
no.
That was me purposely not understanding him, though I get him.
It's either you get it literally or proverbially.
Mm-hmm.
If you say that, okay, God doesn't really have eyes and doesn't really have a heart, but it's just a matter of speech, then be seen is also a way of speech,
Right.
and vice versa. It's just you have to take them both because they appear so near each other. You have to take either you take them both or you take none.
Yeah. Yeah. Eyes are the ability, like I think eyes are the ability to perceive, and a heart is to have an opinion on those things that you see.
Okay, so you take it as a matter of speech. You say that God doesn't really have eyes and heart physically. And then I said, okay, so the appearance of God is
Yeah.
also non-physical, or vice
Yep.
versa. I'm not deciding either way. I'm just putting them together.
Thank you. Good stuff. Okay, Sandy, let's continue on from verse 5. I cut you off, so let's do all of verse 5 again.
Okay, then I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever, as I promised David your father, saying, you shall not lack a man on the throne of Israel. But if you turn aside from following me, you or your children, and do not keep my commandments and my statutes that I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel from the land that I have given them, and the house that I have consecrated for my name I will cast out of my sight, and Israel will become a proverb and a byword among all peoples. And this house shall become a heap of ruins. Everyone passing by it will be astonished and will hiss, and they will say, why has the Lord done thus to the land and to this house? And they will say, because they abandoned the Lord their God, who brought their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold on other gods, and worshipped them, and served them. Therefore the Lord has brought all this disaster on them.
Any opinions on this bit?
The phrase, if you disobey, you'll become a proverb seems particularly poignant, directed at Solomon, the wisdom teacher. It's almost like by your obedience or by your disobedience, you will still teach your people wisdom one way or another.
Yeah.
And not only his people, other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I was noticing as I was studying this passage is that there's no version where Israel doesn't stand out. It's either going to stand out as exemplarily positive, or it becomes a proverb and a byword, where it becomes an example of failure. But there's no version where it's not an example.
No, but there shouldn't be, because okay, correct me if I'm off kilter, but wasn't it all the way back to Abraham? God is saying that this people is going to lead the nations. They are going to be an example to the nations. They are going to, be the leaders of the nations. And so we either lead for good or for ill. And yeah, it's I'm trying not to head into the New Testament conversation I was having with somebody earlier, but I was talking about one of the reasons I liked Halakhic Man was the same reason that I liked reading the Gospels, where I could picture that. So here is this man, Jesus. He's called a teacher, and people are following him around, and that's what we're supposed to do. But that's what we're supposed to do with God too, and that's what Israel has been called to do, is to follow God and have people follow them. And I see that in here, in the sense that he's telling Solomon, you are the leader. You are the leader. I've consecrated the house that you built, and whatever you do is going to be that which forms the destiny of the nation, and the influence upon all the people who pass by. They're going to comment on whatever has happened based on what you do. Your children. Yeah. Follow me or don't follow me, they're going to notice. They're going to see it. And that means there's...
That's good. That sounds like it relates to exactly what Don is saying here. Being just kind of sort of okay is not one of the options, right? Like you're setting an example. You're setting some kind of an example. Yeah. Yoav, do you have any comments that you want to throw on what Sandy's saying, or any ideas that pop up to you?
Oh, the English translation smoothes out really problems in the text. If I read the text in Hebrew, it's become borderline ununderstandable.
Yeah.
What it says in modern Hebrew is this house will be supreme, and everyone passing on it will whistle. So, okay, it's not nearby. It's really stepping on it. I can understand. But why did this? What do they mean when they said that this house will be supreme? This is not what they're supposed to mean. This is not what the English translation says, because the English translation just cannot accept the straight meaning, which is. But if I say, okay, I have this word and I interpret it as supreme, and I'm misinterpreting it, then in the next word, when everyone that passes on it, I also, because it's the same word, I mean, supreme is above, and on it's the same sense of above. Then I also have to not accept the meaning that everybody's passing on it. So have to accept the English translation, because that's the one that makes sense. I don't understand the Hebrew.
So I have a question, because I almost asked, when I said that the eyes and the heart of God are there still, and I talked about the archaeology of it, then the Hebrew is correct. People are walking on the temple of God. It's underneath their feet, but it is still supreme. And I'm like, so I'm wondering, what is the significance of that?
Yeah, his eyes are on the place where the rubble is. Oh.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it makes me think of how often I'll hear people talk about, above and below. So God is at this point saying He is above and He is below, and we're walking where He is. Like He's everywhere, but like logically,
yeah. Okay.
There's something to what Yoav is saying, that where He's saying it doesn't make sense, it does make sense, kind of.
the geographical facts on the ground are as follows. Where the Jews pray is just outside of the outer wall. So they do not step on the place. The whole area is under management of the Muslims.
Yeah.
And where I think the temple was is where the Golden Dome is. And somehow the Muslims are shy of using it. I mean, they will come in occasionally, but it's not their main mosque. Somehow they're very shy of actually trampling there. Where they do worship is in the Silver Dome temple that is also right on the edge, certainly not where the House of God was, because that place didn't exist at the time. It's a made-up balcony. So, I mean, yes, people are occasionally passing by, but I think people are, there is a, in a sense, there is a presence there, which is troublesome. And if you read the inscription on the Golden Dome, there is an inscription in Arabic on it. It's also troublesome. There is a spirit there.
Okay, going back. Yeah, so there's you're referring to the gods that are referenced there that aren't Allah. Is that
I'm stopping there. I mean, just saying, being non-religious as I am, there is a sense of a presence there that I think people do feel, whether they admit it or not, or even if they think of themselves of another religion, being Muslim or communist, they still feel the spirit.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. We just lost Matt, and that's unfortunate because I want to reread a section and to think about something that I think Matt was introducing, which is considering. Oh, he's back.
I don't know why that happens. But...
Yeah. Considering what happens to Solomon's child, and the end of Solomon's story, reading it this way. If you turn aside from following me, you or your children, and do not keep my commandments and my statutes that I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel from the land that I have given them. And the house that I have consecrated for my name, I will cast out of my sight. And Israel will become a proverb and a byword among all peoples. And this house will become a heap of ruins. Everyone passing by it will be astonished and will hiss. And they will say, why has Adonai done this to this land and to this house? Then they will say, because they abandoned Adonai their God, who brought their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold on other gods and worshipped them and served them. Therefore, Adonai has brought all this disaster on them. Do people say this? If someone asked you, Matt, why is there a dome on the rock? Would you say to them, because they abandoned Adonai their God and brought their fathers, who brought their fathers out of the land of Egypt and laid hold of other gods and worshipped and served them? That's why? Would you say that?
I mean, maybe not that directly. I mean, I might have a roundabout way of saying that. I have seen that said pretty ferociously on like dissident right corners of Twitter, for what it's worth. But
can it be a non-dissonant version that says it?
The top looks like
what? Sure. I mean, I put in probably wouldn't say that was that much like prophetic invective, because I'm concerned about present day relations.
Yes, yeah.
But and in this case, they're talking about the temple version 1 versus version 2, which is slightly different.
Yeah.
That was the first temple. And people might have been saying that on the period between the first temple and the second temple. Then came the second temple, and the second temple was not ruined because Israel were bowing to other gods. For whatever reason it was demolished, it was another reason. And therefore this prophecy does not apply anymore.
Do you believe? Okay, this is like I believe Jacob would say that the second temple was never legitimate, and that there's rabbinic writing that says there is no, like, the second temple isn't real. That's someone else trying.
Fine.
I enjoyed your laugh though. That was a good.
Mind you, Jacob also said that this old story with Solomon that we're reading now has not really happened, and it's only all allegorical. He also says that, and he believes only in the first 5 books of the Bible. So I mean, he has to come again as he did last week and explain himself.
Yes, yeah. Set us straight. Otherwise, we're going to start preaching from the letter to the Hebrews, okay? Interesting.
Okay, this is either related or unrelated. But
Sandy, I miss you when you're gone. I miss you when you're gone. This is either related or not related. Much like the obedience of Israel, it either is or it's the opposite. There's no in between.
well, I'm thinking about when you asked Matt Skankenstein, when you asked him about what he thought about going back and reading this again, and I'm like, I've heard it too often, said and implied, you move on past the Second Temple and you're into the Roman period and all the, all that came after. And I don't know that we have permission to assume that there was a judgment of God on the Second Temple the way that we do, and Yoav is saying that was the first temple. People would say this between the first and the second temples, and that sounds plausible to me. I worry about some of the things that get said.
So there's an I think there's an implication of some kind of judgment occurring on the Second Temple in the Talmud, that it says that 40 years before the temple was destroyed, there were several good omens related to Yom Kippur, right? So one was the lot for Adonai would come in the right hand, and the lot for Azazel would be in the left hand. There would be the order that you lit the candelabra, that the last fire would be the first one you lit, even though it was burning the longest. There was a couple of, and there was a red cord that would come back white. It specifically says 40 years before the destruction of the temple, these good omens stopped coming back good. And they never came back good. So 40 years to me is
it's significant.
It's significant. Yeah.
So, but tell me if I'm reading this incorrectly then, because I don't hear that the people of Israel are abandoned. The temple falls into destruction. the means of connecting with God in the standard form of worship of God and the relationship gets shattered. But at the same time, I don't see any way that God has abandoned his people. Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, when I read the stories, anything that's happened that was really bad was always to bring them back, always to bring Israel back to God.
It's not just Israel. Sorry, Sandy. What's important, I think, in what we are saying is that it's the other nations that are saying these things.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So it's not just about bringing Israel back. It's to fulfill the promise that it would be a blessing to all nations. Because if you ask Nebuchadnezzar understands the will of God because of the exile.
Right, which is what I'm pointing at, that you can't leave this in a place where all the other nations just get to finger point forever and make up their own ways. That's never been an option.
Because look at this. It does not say that they abandon it. It doesn't use their God in the non-explicit term. The people who are the surrounding nations are saying God's name. Right? Look, there it is. The divine name, the divine name, the divine name. The other nations are still bearing witness of Hashem and saying it was specifically him who did this. Right? They were supposed to bring this light to the nations. They, quote unquote, fail in doing it, but they still succeed because God brings them into those other nations.
A point. It was not all the nation all over the world. Only those who bother to come to that specific place. You have to make the pilgrimage.
Yeah. Do you want to say more on that? No. Okay. I think I'm gonna sit with this for a while. So Yoav, you're saying that like Sandy and I and is it Skankenstein or Skankenstein?
Skankenstein, well, it's off of Frankenstein. So, but I'm also a fan of Young Frankenstein. So, the pronunciation potentialities are endless.
Yes.
I was just following the wisdom of Solomon of the last chapter. On the one hand, he appears to the Gentiles and he says to them, "You are all most welcome." And on the other hand, he's just care for the business of tourism in Jerusalem.
Oh, good. Stephen is saying all the other nations are Noahides. They all extol Hashem by criticizing the ruins or just the nations of the Jews. Like I think it's referring to these other nations. Like because it says it explicitly in the Torah. This is reiterating Deuteronomy of the role that the other nations will have. Are you at NPR? Is that NPR?
The local affiliate.
Okay, all right. Awesome. This stream is going out to a different demographic than normally receives it. Awesome.
But not for much longer, apparently.
Yes. Okay, Sandy, let's continue reading, shall we?
At the end of 20 years in which Solomon had built the two houses, the house of the Lord and the king's house, And Hiram, king of Tyre, had supplied Solomon with cedar and cypress, timber, and gold, as much as he desired. King Solomon gave to Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. But when Hiram came from Tyre to see the cities that Solomon had given him, they did not please him. Therefore he said, "What kind of cities are these that you have given me, my brother?" So they are called the land of Kabul to this day. Hiram had sent to the king 120 talents of gold.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Yoav. Doesn't that basically mean good for nothing? Like,
No.
do you know?
Well, I don't, again, I don't know what meaning it must have meant now. Now
Yeah.
it just mean pit, as in swamp. I mean, it's a swampland.
In Virginia, you can drive through this town called the Great Dismal, which is another term for a swamp.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it just, Hiram says, well, this is swampland.
Yeah. Sahara, by the way, means desert. So the Sahara Desert is the desert, right? And it is.
Did I stutter?
Yeah, it is the desert, by the way. It's the most deserty of deserts. But what I find interesting in this, like this lines up, it's very interesting with what you have said before, Yoav, about the relationship between the king of Tyre and these foreign allegiances. Like what is happening here? He gives them so much room, and he says, "This is kind of junk. I'm not actually interested in moving in here."
It is not a great vibe that immediately after the warning of like if things don't go well, you're gonna become a byword among the nations. And immediately becomes a byword among the nations, at least with this guy who was his very close, dependable ally.
That's good.
But like, do we know much about like the state of like Tyre? Is this just them being like, look, you guys are pretty fancy, but you're still building a shiny temple in redneck country? Did Solomon give him trash, or is this just Hiram being like, you guys are still like, who's being the benefactor here?
That's a good question. Yeah, that is very interesting. Well, I would like to continue on, and maybe we will return to this, unless other people have something to add to that. Okay, Sandy, continue reading for it. Oh, okay, Yoav, I heard something. No. Okay, Sandy, go ahead.
This is the account of the forced labor that King Solomon drafted to build the house of the Lord and his own house, and the Milo and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazor and the Megiddo and Gezer. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, had gone up and captured Gezer and burned it with fire, and had killed the Canaanites who lived in the city, and had given it as dowry to his daughter, Solomon's wife. So Solomon rebuilt Gezer and Lower Beth Horon and Bathla and Tamar in the wilderness, in the land of Judah, and all the store cities that Solomon had, and the cities for his chariots, and the cities for his horsemen, and whatever Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. All the peoples who were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of the people of Israel, their descendants who were left after them in the land, whom the people of Israel were unable to devote to destruction. These Solomon drafted to be slaves. And so they are to this day. But of the people of Israel, Solomon made no slaves. They were the soldiers. They were his officials, his commanders, his captains, his chariot commanders, and his horsemen.
Okay, let's pause there for a second. Yoav, you have to have some opinions on this. I know you do. Go ahead.
Well, I've said it. It's all of the business with marrying the daughter of Pharaoh. There's no other political choice because Egypt has disappeared from the Levant for a short period following the fall of the Bronze Age, and now Egypt is back, and it sends an army as far as Gezer, which is sort of middle of the, within a day's walk of Jerusalem. You have to play nice with Egypt, or you're dead.
And they are playing very nice with Egypt.
And the business of, okay, so where is the southern border of Solomon's kingdom? Wherever Pharaoh agrees it is. And where is the northern border of the Solomon kingdom? On the one hand, he gives cities to the king of Lebanon in the Galil, and Galil is now in modern Israel. On the other hand, is quoted it as being the ruler of the Lebanon. It's all mixed up. I mean, it's a loser. Nobody's marking any borders. We're all brothers.
It's also interesting that we have references to things like the store cities, the forced labor at the top over there. It's not just that they're playing nice with Egypt. They look like Egypt. Right? That he's a pharaoh. That's what Solomon is, a pharaoh. He's married.
He looks like an Egypt one, and then he looks like an Phoenicians on the other hand. I mean, he just mixes with everybody.
Well, that's interesting because he's going to mix with the sea people in like two verses. It talks about how the next thing he's going to do is he's going to build up a naval force.
Not the sea people. Okay, but we'll read it. The point is the folly of trying to draw the borders of Greater Israel on the time of David and Solomon. There were no borders at all. It was not a system.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Also, the references to horsemen and chariots. These are related to the warnings about what will happen as a sign that your kings are becoming corrupt. That they start building their military. That's what your taxes go to. That's like it becomes a big part of it. Sandy, keep on reading.
These were the chief officers who were over Solomon's work, 550 who had charge of the people who carried on the work. But Pharaoh's daughter went up from the city of David to her own house that Solomon had built for her. Then he built do we say Milo or Milo? Sorry, 3 times a year, Solomon used to offer up burnt offerings and peace offerings on the altar that he built to the Lord, making offerings with it before the Lord. So he finished the house.
Finish us off, shall we?
King Solomon built a fleet of ships at Ezion-Geber, which is near Eloth, and on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent with the fleet his servants, seamen who were familiar with the sea, together with the servants of Solomon. And they went to Ophir and brought from there gold, 420 talents, and they brought it to King Solomon.
Fun. I like this reference to the Red Sea.
These are
Go ahead.
already not sea people, but Phoenicians.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. But these references that even the power is coming from the Red Sea and all this other stuff. There's we got some concerns. I got some concerns. But also this sounds like what you were saying before, that the gold is not coming from them, it's coming from outside.
Sorry?
You made mention before that they're not producing the gold; they're bringing it from foreign places, right? That's part of this story, is they're actually getting this stuff from outside.
Yeah, no gold mines in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point of Hebrew, we talked about it many times when we're talking about pots. In Hebrew, there's a mixture between a large pot and a ship, because a pot will be a sir and a boat will be sirah. If it will be big enough so it has a place under a deck, so when you can store stuff, then it is sfina, meaning that it is something that you can hide something inside, you can store something inside. That's Hebrew. And now suddenly we got another word for a ship, onia, which is not Semitic. So it doesn't come from Hebrew and it doesn't come from the language of the Phoenicians. It must come from the places where they were traveling. Where they traveled to, they met some other people, and from there they learned the new word onia, which did not exist in Hebrew. And that they get clue to where they were going.
That's great. Thank you for that, Yoav. That's a very good thing to notice.
Young God asked, how did they drag the boats across the desert? Good questions. They would not drag them. They would build them on the spot. Unfortunately, it's the middle of the desert. You don't get any wood to buy ship. Must come from Jordan, from thereabout of Petra.
Yeah. Interesting. I had a lot of fun with this chapter. Does anyone have anything else they want to add to this section? Okay. Chapter 10 would open up a whole other kettle of fish. So even though we have only gone on for an hour, I'm going to say that we're going to cut it there. And we might be here next week, but I don't know. I will be in Chicago, and so it might be happening live. Okay, so that might still happen. So keep an eye out. If I'm not doing it, I don't know if Jacob can do it, because Jacob, I know, is traveling for a wedding that same weekend. He's not going to be there. For Jason, Mazel Tov, Jason, who is getting married to his lovely wife, Rivka. Blessings to you. May your first child be a masculine one. Sorry, that's in, what is that in? The Godfather.
Godfather, yeah.
I always say it, and I'm like, am I actually saying this right now? Either way, it stuck with me. So blessings, my friend. Much love.
My first child was a masculine one. And so were the second and third. And so is my grandchild.
Okay. Are you wishing? I heard there's like a difference between like girl moms and boy moms. Do you wish there was a daughter in there to even things out? I mean, I know you're happy with all boys. I'm sure they're a great blessing to you. But do you want a girl in there too?
How would I know?
Good point. Great point. Don wanted a big brother. Okay. I can't remember. Don, are you going to be in Chicago? Does anyone have any idea where Don is in this great country? I have no idea what Don looks like. Maybe Don is a rose bush that has become sentient and streams about the Hebrew Bible. Entirely possible. I hope that's the case. No.
No.
No, you're not a sentient rose bush? Or no, she's not going to be there. Okay, well, then you'll be missed. Maybe we'll see you guys next week. I love you all. Goodbye.